Welcome viewers to another Gleaner video podcast. Today we touch on a very topical issue in the Jamaican community at this time, the Patois Bible project. And with me to discuss the project are John Rooms, Wycliffe Bible Translators Executive Director, and Reverend Courtney Stewart, Executive Director of the Bible Society of the West Indies.
Well, they said to me, we need the script. I suppose one aspect of it is also to affirm that the children, they're not dumb, they're not dunce.
That's right.
This is the language they're speaking. And if for this to work, the educational process needs to become more specialized so that you can teach the children from where they are.
Right.
You begin where they are.
Where they are.
And then you teach the English as a foreign language.
Yes.
But affirm their language. And once you do that, you open their minds to learning German and English and French and Spanish and you name it.
That is where the solution to Jamaica's comprehension problem lies. They say that the UNESCO has it as a rule of thumb through all the linguistic studies and so on. If you go and talk to the University of the West Indies Language Unit, they will tell you that you learn to read once in your life, and it's best done in that hard language. You learn to manipulate ideas and concepts once in your life, and it's best done in that hard language. The scriptures and experiments all over the place have shown that your heart language is determined by the country where you were born. I've been to one prominent prep school some years ago, and this school, they have a number of expatriate children, and many of these children, it's a prep school, so many of them were born here. And I remember going there, and the teacher wasn't so sure if she should be so friendly to me, the principal, because she heard that I was a person who was talking about Patois Bible. She completely disagreed with that idea, and she showed it through her countenance and everything, and I thought I had an enemy here. And then I thought, let me ask her this question. I said, I have one question for you. How is your comprehension? And her response was, "Me dear sir, no matter what I do, I just cannot seem to solve the comprehension problem in the school." And then I explain about the hard language. When you unlock that hard language, you increase, you double the capacity of that child to acquire languages, to acquire the reading and comprehension skills that are needed. And so this is how Jamaica's comprehension problem will be solved. Start with the language they come to school with. And that will probably be a process like in St. Andrews, where it takes a 2-year process before they introduce English orally and then teach them to read and write. That goes on for another 2 years. And because they have a third language, which is Spanish, they then introduce Spanish orally and then teach them to read and write. Because every language goes through that process. It begins orally, then it becomes written. So St. Andrews has successfully done it. They were once called the dung heap of the Caribbean. Now they are the jewel of the Caribbean because they carried out this process with their children. The boys remain in school who are they are the ones who are deeply affected by this thing. They drop out of school. And we call them dunces here. But it's not that they're dunce. They simply speak another language. And St. Andrews have beaten that problem.
St. Andrews is, just for our viewers, just outside Colombia.
Just outside Nicaragua, but they are annexed to Colombia.
Okay. Have you approached the Ministry of Education concerning the Patois Bible? And if you have, what has been the overture you have been receiving from the Ministry of Education?
Well, let me just mention, in May 2003, with Dr. Faith Linton, myself, and a member of Wycliffe Caribbean, June Simmons, went to the then Minister of Education, Mrs. Henry Wilson, and said to her that we disagreed with the government's language policy, which was that they accepted and agreed with the fact that with the university's findings that the approach to English was wrong and there was a need to develop the Jamaican language. They agreed with everything, but they felt they didn't have the money to do it, they didn't have the expertise, and they didn't have a formula. We took to the minister the formula from San Andres, our relatives. And we said to them, we also have people who can possibly work on this thing as missionaries. But at any rate, we have already done most of the work in the development of the language. And so even the question of money and expertise are covered there. And the government agreed then. The Minister of Education threw the door open for us for the university to do dual language education in some schools as a pilot project.
Okay.
And so, you know, people can have discussions with the language unit at the university about how the project has been going.
Oh, the project is going on now?
It's been going on since September 2004.
Okay.
And we are going to be taking it further to the minister, the appropriate ministers, as you have suggested, because now that we are in this revitalized stage,
Right.
we want to bring them in on the ground floor so that they can become au fait with what it is that we're doing, the objectives we're trying to reach. Because a lot of the misconception is that we want to promote Patois in contrast and as opposed to English. And we say, no, we're a bilingual society.
Yes, yes.
It's not one at the expense of the other. It's
Right.
both and.
Okay, I'm with you. What is the role of viewers watching this podcast? How can they best assist, if they are so inclined, the Patois Bible Project?
Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. I believe there are several ways in which viewers can support us. One, they can give us their feedback. We are going to be, as we have scripts available, we'll publish them on our website, which we are now revamping. Okay, so once that comes up, we need their feedback concerning what do they think of our efforts here, because we take all of this on board. Two, they can contribute to the project. It's an expensive project, very expensive. It's gonna cost about $5 million per year.
Jamaican dollars.
Jamaican dollars, $5 million per annum.
For how long?
And the best forecast is that it'll take us about 12 years to do the entire Bible. About 4 or 5 years for the New Testament and about 7 years for the Old Testament.
Okay.
And that's being very optimistic. No setback, no challenges, that kind of a thing. So they can contribute to the project by, a lot of the funding is actually coming through foreign entities, the United Bible Societies, the Seed Company, the British and Foreign Bible Society, and so on. But this is our project. And one of the best ways we believe you can own something is by saying, hey, I've contributed to it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So while the funding, we accept the funding from non-Jamaican sources, it will also be tremendously encouraging to have, you know, Jamaicans own it. So it's an opportunity. We believe it's not so much that we're begging money. It's an opportunity for engagement and involvement.
Yes.
So give us their feedback, give us their money, but also give us your counsel. And maybe most important of all the contribution, give us your prayers.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because we are taking the scriptures out there. It's almost like we're removing a veil from people's eyes. Because the word of God will come home to persons in a way hitherto never envisioned.
Right.
And the devil, we believe, is going to unleash his arsenal to frustrate this project. So we need the prayer support of God's people everywhere. Because I said, this is not to compete with English. This is to bring the word of God to the people of our nations in a new, in a vibrant, in a way that says, God speaks my language.